Hey Daily Hopers, Nick here. We're in Ezekiel 22 today. We're going to see here the oracles of the prophet, and he begins by pointing out to Israel how short they have fallen of God in his glory, and secondarily he says that they are going to be melted like in a furnace. The dross is going to be melted away. Now, when I grew up on the farm, on the ranch, we used to have a furnace. It was a small furnace that you would wind like this, and it would blast air through the fire, and you'd be able to melt things in it. You'd be able to put them in there, and it would make them eventually white hot, and so you could pull them out, then you could bash them on an anvil. It's very effective, but I don't imagine it's very fun if that which you put into the fire could feel it. What I want to say is that God, in his justice, and his righteousness is far more holy than we ever could have imagined. You know, God's people here had fallen short. They had fallen to corruption. They had fallen to thoughtlessness and carelessness. They were not looking after the weak and oppressed in their midst. Let me just see here and read it out. I'm in verse 6 here. It says, "Behold, the princes of Israel in you, everyone according to his power, has been bent on shedding blood. They've lived for their own selfish gain. Father and mother are treated with contempt in you. They're not respecting their parents. The sojourner," that's like the refugees, "suffers extortion in your midst. The fatherless," that's the orphan, "and the widow are wronged in you." They're not caring for those who need care. A little bit later on, down in verse 29, it says, "The people of the land have practiced extortion and committed robbery. They have oppressed the poor and needy, have extorted from the sojourner without justice." The sojourner is a refugee, those who are seeking refuge. And here's what I want to land on. "And I sought for a man from among them who should build up the wall and stand in the breach before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none." You know, all of us ultimately are going to fall short of God in his glory. We have all fallen short, and in fact, as we look about our world, as it says in Psalms, the wicked freely strut about when what is vile is honoured among men. The world isn't as it should be. But this passage points forward to the coming Messiah. There is one and one alone who can stand in the breach, and his name is Jesus. When he went to the cross, he took our sin, he took our shame personally, but also collectively. All of humankind's sin and shame was taken upon him. He is the only one who can stand in the breach. So firstly, let's remember that it's only through Christ, the one who can withstand this white hot fire of God's justice. And thankfully that he did. And let us also remember that the law endures as a guidepost for us to care for those in our midst who need our help. Friends, I look forward to seeing you down at services this weekend when we can encourage one another with these and more words. See you soon.